Freedom Radio Hour. Live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Freedom Radio Hour. I'm your host, DJ Adam Cruz, and I have my fantastic co-host here,
Eddie Nicholas. What's up, good people? Welcome to Capital Radio 91.6 FM, the Heartbeat of Sudan. We're so grateful and so thrilled to be back here in 2015. What's up, Adam? What is going on?
Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. I was like chomping at the bit to come back here because there's just so much music business news I want to talk about. Just to remind our listeners and our viewers that the Freedom Radio Hour is here on a weekly basis. We give you not only good music, but we also give you music business news and trends from around the world. So I was trying to take my time and really research some of our pieces that we'll be discussing this season, but I think we should just jump right in.
Of course.
So of course, last we were talking about Spotify. They're a streaming service that has been under fire because big name artists have started to pull their music from that service. Why? Because they feel that artists are getting the teeniest, tiniest bits of money. And when we talked about the math is a fraction of a penny per stream is what the artist is entitled to, according to this math. So as the years have gone by, Spotify has now become in the news. As we discussed, other streaming services are in existence, like Audio Rhapsody, and others are coming forward, like YouTube's Music Key that we talked about.
Pandora's been a major player.
Pandora's huge. And also now I wanted to make sure that we mentioned in 2015 that SoundCloud, remember they were like the DJ's last hope.
They're changing their whole format.
Now they're subscription based too. Now they want you to pay a certain fee per month and have X amount of access to their catalog. So streaming definitely for the 2015 is where it's at.
Now, question, when we're talking about catalog, are you saying that these entities like SoundCloud and all them, they're doing something in the way of they are creating their own lists for people to pick from? Okay.
Because here's an interesting thing. The biggest thing that I learned over the break was that Spotify, the market thought that Spotify was going to see drops in sales because Taylor Swift, our big artist that we talked about.
Artists,
yeah, Adele and others were pulling their music from the service, and they thought that that would start a trend. Well, in the new year, Spotify went to the CES, that's the big electronic showcase in Las Vegas, and they they presented their findings, which was that to the contrary, they're now at 15 million subscribers. So they got millions over the break and over the course of the year. So now they're at 15 million subscribers. And they also said, we want to let y'all know some findings. One of the biggest things that I wanted to talk about during this first segment was that Spotify said that the user is not listening to an album. So if an album's up on their service on Spotify, by and large, the user isn't listening to the album from beginning to end. They'll pick a song or two, and what they're doing is curating their own playlist. What they're saying is they're giving the user the power to be their own curator, their own tastemaker. And so what you can do now as a subscriber is make your own playlist and then pick any songs you want, and you could share that playlist. So now people are becoming known for their good taste in music.
Curtailing your taste.
Yes, exactly. So now that's real interesting. The other thing that Spotify talked about was that most of the time the users aren't accessing the service on their computer. They're accessing it from two main things, the phone and a tablet. That's it. So that's really interesting for us to know in house music. Why? Because I think we are stuck in some old models. We've been talking a lot over the breaks that nightclubs in the area are sprouting up and they're applying what we think are old models of doing business to the new frontier, that is the music business, or lack thereof. But also I want to really discuss like what that means, not just for Spotify, but for other streaming services. Like one thing that I was talking about in discussing the episodes was people said, well, you discover music on Spotify, like somebody that doesn't know anyone at all. Now you can go on Spotify and discover that person. Isn't that worth it? That's like free promotions now because your music's up there. You can point people to that. Do you think that there's some benefit?
But there are 100 other sites that do exactly the same thing.
I feel the same way. And I think like if you're going to do that, maybe start your own store. Now you could do like a Bandcamp, or you could do so many other things on your own that you don't have to rely on a streaming service. I think that's just like for them, they're making so much money that they got to show face and make it feel like they're about the music and the artist, when in fact the math doesn't lie.
No, the math does not add up at all.
And remember, we were trying to piece the puzzle together about, okay, what is going on with the lion's share? Who's getting the lion's share? We kept saying the aggregators. Those are the companies like Google and iTunes and others that put the material out because they're making the lion's share by incorporating ad-driven marketing. But I also found out in some of these articles that there are record label middlemen, the people that actually negotiate the deals with the aggregators. Those are actually the ones that are making the lion's share.
I know, because a while back we had talked about, what was it, a group of managers or somebody that were putting themselves together.
That's right. And what they did was, so Madonna's manager, Guy Osiri, YouTube's management, and so on and so forth, Maroon 5, they all came together and basically started their own management firm under Live Nation, the biggest ticket outfit in the world.
And these are all A-list artists.
Yeah, and what they're doing, trying to like consolidate and use their power to leverage better deals for their artists. And they're saying that's in the interest of artists and music worldwide, but I think it's just for those few. To me, they represent like the 1% that are making it, you know, while the rest of us are wondering. Exactly. You know, so I think what I want to do is take a break, but when we come back here at the Freedom Radio Hour, I want to talk more about streaming services. There's a new service that's coming out that's touting its high quality innovation. They're called Tidal. We'll talk about them. And I also want to talk about Glenn Thornton, who's in the house tonight.
Yeah.
We want to bring up Slag Records.
We'll see you shortly. Capital Radio, 91.6 FM, the heartbeat of Sudan.
Freedom Radio Hour. Live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM.
Welcome back. Capital Radio 91.6 FM, the heartbeat of Sudan. I'm your host, Eddie Nicholas, and I'm sitting up here with my bad brother. This one over here. What are you laughing? Where you going?
Adam Cruz, y'all.
Yeah.
We're representing the Freedom Radio Hour. Definitely check out freedomradiohour.com. Check out EddieNicholas.com with his brand new one-time single out now. And, of course, check out your boy DJAdamCruz.com for the latest and all that good music that we've been hearing tonight. I want to get back to this discussion about the frontier that is the music business in 2015. And there's no one that I could think better in celebrating the 15th anniversary of one of my favorite labels, Slag Records. We have DJ Glenn Thornton in the building, who I think could really share some insights, not just about like how do you last for these 15 years, but also how do you adapt in a market that seems to be changing faster than we can blink our eyes sometimes, you know. So first of all, Glenn, thanks for coming out here.
Yeah, thank you. You know, I'm very privileged. This man started it all for me.
Yes.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes,
you know what?
you did.
Actually, you know what? I agree with Eddie in the sense that while we may have been working on other things before, it was really our affiliation with you, Glenn, and with Slag that really took us to the next level. Eddie with Groovin', and I think with me as a remixer, my very
remix for me.
Yes, my first remix for Eddie was for Slag.
We have a backstory about that, but that's for another time. Ladies and gentlemen, Glenn Thornton.
But Adam also started out after the remixing thing, he kind of forgets he did all like 15 or 16 album covers. So a lot of the album covers you see for Slag that are digital was from the mind of the mixtape sessions master himself, Adam Cruz. Go ahead.
Well, thank you so much for that, Glenn. I want to talk about, I feel like we have young listeners out there. We are broadcasting to over 7 million people out in Sudan. We want to give a big shout out to all of you. We want to talk, if there are any of you out there that are interested in niche market music like house music or in anything that you're into, I think it would be important to listen to somebody like a Glenn Thornton, because not only has Glenn been around and understands the changing market, but I think Glenn now, having released his debut album, a foray into all things Slaggers, I think that Glenn also has rounded out his knowledge, not just being an owner, but now as an artist, he's playing both sides. You know, I think it's interesting to get his perspective. So, Glenn, in the 2015, what are you thinking in terms of the changing landscape of music? You know, because I find you to be really a resourceful person. You found a way to adapt throughout the years. Would you think that's part of your success in this, so to speak?
It's definitely about adapting and reading articles and looking at tutorials, as well as trying to look and find out what's next, what's going on now, and then what possibly will happen next. There's a site that I came across called Slide, and Slide is a site that's usually on your phone where artists put up their music, their lyrics, their video, their bio, whatever information they want, and as you come across the artist on the site Slide, you flip your finger or slide it across to get to the next page, and to the next page, and the next page. So it's artist driven and a way for artists to showcase who they are and it's only their content. So that's something that's relatively new. It started recently, and there's a couple of other things that I see that are where the artist can take control of their own content and their own message, their own narrative. So as we're now in an era where the era that we're in now, or that we're going through, is not too far away, really, since things are cyclical. We're really not that far away from the late. I know for a lot of you folks, I'm going to go back for a second. So the only way to get forward is to go back for a second. Right. So one of the things that's a cycle is the mid to late 1950s. The record industry was driven and all about singles from emerging artists that were found by radio. Back then it was found by radio. So it's still found by radio now, but radio is not radio. Tune it in anymore. AM radio is still the same concept of locally, wherever you are as an artist, you can be found on the local radio, which is now to take away the word radio and interject internet of some sort, whether it's streaming or you click around or you go to SoundCloud, Mixcloud, anybody's cloud.
Right. No, I definitely can see that, and I also appreciate that while you're aware of the models that have existed, you also can see through your experience that what it's changed to, and then you could apply what you learned in that way. That's different from some of what we see where business owners apply old models just in the new time. That's not what you're saying. You're saying, I'm aware of the old models and what it's changed in this way, and I've adapted in this way, and that's to be commended. I think that's part of, in my opinion, the success of Slag, because you have been at the forefront of keeping yourself knowledgeable about the digitization of music, the necessity for vinyl still. You were doing that for many years. And so I appreciate you still doing this. And then you found a way to interject your music in big events like the Vocal Booth Weekend in Spain recently, where you play. You also had an opportunity to have people check out your brand new album by virtue of the giveaway bags. And I think that's a genius way to think about it, because we often don't look outside of our box when thinking about promoting and marketing the music, you know?
And we're going to ask you to hold that thought right there, Adam Cruz. Capital Radio 91.6 FM. We'll be back with you short.
Freedom Radio Hour.
And we're back here at Capital Radio 91.6 FM, the Heartbeat of Sudan. You're tuned in to the Freedom Radio Hour. I'm your host, DJ Adam Cruz, along with my fantastic co-host, Eddie Nicholas, right there.
Yes, I am, and we're so glad that you decided to come back and continue to hang with us. We're going to get back to where we were before. We were chit-chatting with my good buddy over here, Mr. Glenn Thornton.
Yes, I think
Adam had something to say at the end before I... Just so gracious.
No, we had to, because we have a lot to say in a short amount of time, you know. But I wanted to say in short that in this last few moments that we wanted to wish Slag Records sincerely happy 15-year anniversary and more to come. We also want to make sure that you guys are aware of the Glenn Thornton album, his debut solo project. It's called A Foray into Slaggers. It's out now. Check out slagrecords.com, SLAAG, or you could just Google DJ Glenn Thornton or Glenn Thornton and he will come up, I'm sure. Also, we want to take this opportunity to give him another kind of shout out in that he's really good at having the eye and ear for new talent. A new project that he has out is with Natasha Gilbert. Natasha Gilbert has a new single called Singing for My Life. So not only is he promoting his brand new project, but he also has a new artist in Natasha Gilbert. So definitely check out slagrecords.com for that. I really love that dub. That's super hot. And in the interest of plugging new artists, I have to give a shout out to my beautiful lady right here, Jacqueline, who is our brand new artist in 2015. You are going to be hearing a lot from her. She's been sitting idly by, but we want to take this opportunity to shout you out, Jacqueline, and just make sure that everybody understands that this year you guys will understand this face and hear her spectacular voice throughout the year. What do you want to say about this year and what you hope to accomplish? And what do you think the music business will be like for you?
Well, I am in the process of producing Blood Sisters, the musical. We have some clips on YouTube.
Yes, YouTube her.
And hopefully we'll be doing it in Newark as a first step for this area. We've done it in Florida, and we've had several casts. It was originally directed and choreographed by Marion J. Caffey.
I love that. And so she has this wonderful acting ability, wonderful singing ability, and she can produce, she can write. There's just, woman has a lot of talents. So definitely you're going to be checking out more of Jacqueline in the future. And also I want to make sure that we understand that EddieNicholas.com, DJAdamCruz.com, FreedomRadioHour.com is where it's at. Of course, you have to check out Glenn Thornton. And I just want you all to know that this whole season, it's going to be about how do we understand more about this music business? How do we take away the information and apply it to our own business models? Because we're all do-it-yourself artists trying to win in this. And I think that if we do that,
trying to get a piece of that American pie.
Exactly right, man. That's all that we're trying to do. But I am really excited because you know what? I look at this ever-changing atmosphere that we're in as a big opportunity, because usually when the tides are changing, that means it's about to be a new era, and I'm always down for the future.
And we got to be on the ride for the new era.
Exactly.
When that train comes a riding in. Thank you for joining us on Capital Radio 91.6 FM. I'm Edward Nicholas, and this is...
I'm Adam Cruz, y'all. Thanks for listening. See you next time.